Ho ho, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I am your host, Neil Johnson, and folks, every day the news just keeps getting better. Donald Trump, if you see this episode, I love you, man. I mean, I'm serious. I had hopes, but I had no idea that this could even be real. I mean, I always see the federal government growing. I hear Republicans talk about cutting it, but never with the courage that you have. So, Donald Trump, thank you. Thank you so much, because this is the most glorious thing I've ever seen in governance. As we go through this today, folks, I'm going to highlight some of the things going on within DOGE. I'm going to show you some of President Trump's press briefing in the Oval Office. I mean, I just can't get enough of this good news right now. So again, I saw it was James's birthday. So James, happy birthday. James Holleran, a longtime listener to the show. So happy birthday to you, James. Light it up in the chat, folks, for James and his birthday. Thank you for joining me today. It's actually my second live today. I did one other video on Maxine Waters that should be bigger because it's so good. So if you get a chance, go check that out. That was an upload video, not a live. I do need to mention something. I did talk with Mike Lindell today. So you guys know you get all kinds of special deals because we have the best audience. Okay. I mean, I cover this all the time. We get 30% off the MyCross necklace instead of the 20% represented on the page. This is if you go to the mypillow.com/lumberjack. Again, if you just go to mypillow.com, you're going to see 20% off. Here you'll see 30% off because we get the best deals. But here also, if you go to this classic collection right now, I just talked with Mike and he is running something. Again, this is just us and Bannon that get this. But right now, limited time offer on the multi-use My Pillows, only $9.98 with the promo code, and this is all falling under the free shipping. These are the greatest. Okay. They're like the roll and go. You can get these little pillows and you can put them in your own little pillowcase, or he sells pillowcases for them too. And then they got the little fold. You roll them up. I use them for elk hunting. I use them in the boundary waters. I use them as knee pillows. I use them as my regular pillow. I use them as a reading pillow. When I'm reading to my kids, I prop another pillow under my neck. I'm telling you, they are just so handy. So go get yourself some of those and get yourself some of the other deals over at My Pillow. I always call the 800 number, especially when I'm ordering pillows, to get the right fill weight. 1-800-568-2865. Again, that's 1-800-568-2865 for mypillow.com. All right, we're going to get into the news now, folks. So what's going on? I've got video, folks. You're not going to believe this. A Democrat, okay, from Minnesota on CNN saying that it's time for Democrats to start supporting Elon Musk, getting on the Trump train, basically. I mean, he can see the writing on the wall. Americans are for this. By the way, President Trump has disbanded CISA. Did you guys know that? The Cyber Security Infrastructure Agency. These are the people, Chris Krebs, who told you that 2020 was the most safe and secure of all time. Look, if you haven't been following my channel a long time, you probably just don't understand how big of a deal that is. But we are literally talking about dismantling the apparatus that controls our elections. Okay? And I'm not talking in a good sense. I could go on about Eric and all these other things, but I can't get sidetracked on that. All right? I want to, earlier today, I tried to share this video, so this is just a bonus. I'm going to throw this in first. It's Lee Zeldin. Tell me if you can hear this. I went in and I bumped the audio up more for you, folks. So hopefully you can hear this. I want you to hear what Lee Zeldin has to say. Okay, and I want to see in the chat if you can hear this fine. Please let me know.
Hi, this is EPA
Lee Zeldin. One of my very top priorities at EPA is to be an excellent steward of your hard-earned tax dollars. There will be zero tolerance of any waste and abuse. An extremely disturbing video circulated 2 months ago featuring a Biden EPA political appointee talking about how they were tossing gold bars off the Titanic, rushing to get billions of your tax dollars out the door before Inauguration Day. The gold bars were tax dollars. and tossing them off the Titanic.
Unbelievable. You guys still can't hear this. This video sounds fine on my end. It's just wild to me. So it's interesting how that one particular video is going through that. I'm going to share another video. This will blow your mind, actually. This is one of the ladies. Well, it's a series of senators talking about DOGE and talking about the EPA. So if you've watched what's going on with Trump and Elon Musk and the federal government and what they're doing, so DOGE is systematically going through, okay? And they started with Treasury and then USAID, and they outed a lot of fraud and corruption. Well, now we found out that the Medicare Medicaid system, $2.7 trillion, folks. That's the mother load. You take those biggest programs, and that's where you can find the most fraudulent payments. Money being sent overseas, okay? So it's absolutely wild. So I want to just share this with you because now they're going after the EPA and the IRS. That was a big announcement actually out of Trump today. In fact, I might just skip ahead to that. Let me just, here. I'm going to actually bring this in quick. I believe this is the one where he talks about the IRS. So this is Trump.
Mr. President, DOGE workers arrived today, Gavin Klager and others arrived today at the IRS. Do you expect to close the IRS, or what are you expecting?
No, I don't expect it, but I think that the Internal Revenue Service will be looked at like everybody else.
That's my greatest disappointment. He's like saying, I'm not looking at closing it. God darn it, I wanted it closed.
It's about everybody's going to be looked at. So it's they're doing a hell of a job. It's an amazing job they're doing. And, that force is building these, I call it the force of super geniuses, but it's building. And, they go up and they talk to some of the people about certain deals, and the people get all tongue-tied. They can't talk because these people get it. They're very smart people. We need smart people, yes.
Mr. President, DOGE workers arrived today, Gavin Klager and others arrived today at the IRS. Do you expect to close the IRS?
I was hoping you'd just say, yeah, we expect to close the IRS. What can I say? Hey, so as they go into this, I want you guys to see this too quick. This is another, this is, what's her name? Schweizer or whatever her name is. Anyhow, she went on CNN and they're talking about how Musk trolled with his new name change. Okay, so there was, remember Big Balls? Okay, and then the next day, Elon Musk put his handle, he changed it to Harry B with an umlaut OLZ. The O had the umlaut. Anyways, it's hilarious. He's just trolling him, and they have to come out and say it on the news. So Musk trolls the not safe for work name change. Now listen to what they have to say. These people have no sense of humor. They're pathetic.
One of the things that he has is he loves dank memes and jokes, and he loves to make jokes himself and then laugh at his own jokes. And then all the people who work for him laugh at him, and therefore he thinks,
look at your face. I mean, I laugh at some of my own jokes. Do you guys ever laugh at your own jokes? This is
funny. And he's not funny. He's sometimes funny, I guess. I never thought so. But he likes to do this. He likes to engage in sort of these juvenile little pranks. And when he's not doing that, he likes to insult people. And all kidding aside, we don't mind being called these names. But it's a 53-year-old man does not do this. I mean, or this one does. And so he just this is what he likes. He likes to slag people. I guess it's part of video game culture or something. But I find it unusual.
Do you know what this lady finds unusual, folks? Humor. She finds humor unusual. So they're struggling with Elon Musk. They don't know how to deal with his dank memes. But what's really interesting, and I got to share this with you. This also came off an interview on CNN. Do me a favor. Just smash that like really quick. Drop a comment with where you're from. I want to get a few more people on here as I'm sharing this video. But in Minnesota, our Senate seat, it turns out that Tina Smith is not running for the U.S. Senate again. So that leaves a vacancy. Now, word on the street is Ilhan Omar is announcing that she's running, and also Peggy Flanagan, who, if you think Tim Walz is bad, Peggy Flanagan is even worse, okay? She's terrible. But that's opening up that Senate seat in the U.S. Well, this is Dean Phillips. He's a congressman from Minnesota. And you might have remembered him during the primaries because he was talking about the left was acting foolish then. So don't kid yourself. Dean Phillips is a reliably leftist nutcase vote. But I want you to watch what he has to say here. Apparently, he's having a little bit of moment of clarity. Watch this.
Unfortunately, Democrats are only focused on one thing right now, Mr. Musk. The fact of the matter, he's quite popular. He has the largest platform in human history, which is, of course, Twitter/X. And I think we're missing the boat as Democrats. And all I'm saying is that sometimes it's better to join them and actually play a role in how the strategy works rather than so pathetically, frankly, try to combat something that clearly is a steamroller, and Democrats are being steamrolled. Unfortunately.
So Democrats are being steamrolled by a steamroller, folks. He's kind of getting it. The real, what are you going to say as a Democrat when Elon Musk outs $2.7 trillion of fraud from one agency? I mean, what do you? No, don't look at it anymore. How's that going to play with the American public? No, we need to get rid of Elon Musk and the DOGE guys. They call themselves hairy balls. I mean, do we care? We care about the $2.7 trillion. $2.7 trillion in one agency. Okay, this is above and beyond, okay, what we've already discovered at USAID, the bad payments at the Treasury. I go on, okay? But no, this is wild. So they don't really have a leg to stand on. And then what's funny, I got to share this. I'm going to bring in something else here. Well, here, let me go to this one first, and then we'll go to Trump, what Trump had to say in the Oval Office today, which was absolutely full of humor. They probably don't get the humor in that either. But so Reuters reports Musk's DOGE cuts based more on political ideology than real cost savings so far. This was an actual news article in Reuters. So then Elon Musk tweeted out, he said, I wonder how much money Reuters is getting from the government. Let's find out. Okay, so look at the time on this, 2:47, February 13th. Okay, and the same day we have DOD paid Reuters $9 million for social engineering program. DOGE investigations reveal mysterious Defense Department payments to Reuters for large-scale social deception project between 2018 and 2022. This is literally what it was called. I mean, I looked at the actual line on the report right that you can get off the website, and it is literally for large-scale social deception project. While DARPA claims it was for cyber defense, questions swirl about why a news agency received millions for social engineering. So it was labeled social engineering and large-scale social deception project. Okay, so, I mean, we are getting to witness this in real time due to Elon Musk and X and other people just going through all of this. There's a gal, a must follow on X if you're on there, Data Republican. She may be coming on the show. She's if she does, I just want you folks to know she's actually she has to sign, and then it has to be interpreted. Her sign has to be interpreted. She was on with Robert F. Kennedy's running mate Nicole Shanahan the other day, and Sean Hendricks is kind of managing that for her now, and he said to reach out to him in a week, he said, and we can probably get this pulled together. So he's got the tools apparently, so we could get Data Republican on. We'll see how that works. But a must follow on X if you're on there. My X handle is down below. Follow me over there. But I'm going to now go to actually President Trump. Okay, so was that the one we already shared? So I need to go to this one. So here's Caitlin Collins. I've got two clips with Caitlin Collins in this meeting today, and look at how Trump is handling the fake news now. He just is really, I mean, he's getting more savage with them as time goes on.
And this should have been done by Biden years ago. This should have never been allowed to happen. I know he's a friend of yours.
But couldn't Putin can just withdraw his.
He's a friend of CNN. That's why nobody watches CNN anymore, because they have no credibility. Okay, who else? Yes, please. And
See,
this should have been
he
done
just
by
totally
Biden.
moved on from her. Now, and he's signing an executive order. Watch this. Watch what he does to Caitlin Collins again. This is beautiful.
That's a good one.
Mr. President, you won the White House in part because of high inflation. If your tariffs make prices go up.
Excuse me, we haven't asked you to speak yet, please. Okay.
So I was kind of muffled there a little bit from the audio, but we haven't asked you to speak yet. Caitlin Collins, the chick who looks like Scott Pressler. Oh, my word. Anyways, stuff just humors me to no end. Did I didn't actually have the video up on that. I'm sorry. Or did I? I don't know. Oh, there it is. There was the screen. It was just Trump with his executive order. Apologize. I forgot to put the screen back in there. But it's absolutely hilarious. Now, I want to show you. Well, here, I'm going to go to this one next. I've got a really important article talking about executive authority and judges and something that went on there. But when Dean Phillips, from that other clip I had shared with you, talked about how, they basically needed to jump on the Trump train. Elon Musk is wildly popular. Maybe they needed to join the effort instead of just screaming about it. Okay. So watch this. This is what he means. This is how ineffective. See, they think that their tactics from yesteryear will still work. Okay. Don't insult Scott. Scott jokes about this all the time, people. All the time. If you're not on X and you don't see the Caitlin Collins, Scott Pressler can handle himself. He says, no, actually, this is not me. And I know many believe that this is me now on CNN. If you can't understand the humor in it, I'm sorry for you. Okay. So anyways, but they think that these same tactics that they used before are going to work again, and they're not. And so now watch these. This is the EPA. Okay, so these are senators talking to you about the EPA and clean water, when in fact, water was cleaned up in Michigan because of I shared that the other day in that whole read I did with you folks. They've actually gone in, and it's not just a study anymore. They actually purified the water so people can get clean water. But listen to this. They think that this kind of tactic will still work.
I don't think there is anyone in America that wants to wake up tomorrow and find out that they have to boil their water because the EPA's workforce has been escorted out of the building. So we're here to make sure that that doesn't happen, and we provide appropriate oversight.
So this is Stansbury. She's a rep, okay? I think she's out of Maryland. Like, do any of you think that you're going to have to boil your water if the EPA employees don't show up to work? I mean, these kind of fear tactics are so old and tired.
DOGE is already in the building at an all-staff meeting, and it's been reported today in EPA. A number of EPA employees were told essentially that their jobs were not secure and essentially that they might be escorted out of the building. So DOGE is already here. These guys have already hacked the system. And to the question about the federal...
This is so funny. See, and this is why that article I read the other day is so important. They're trying to go out now and be like, oh, DOGE has hacked the system. No, DOGE actually gained legal entry into the system with the clearances that they have. And see, they can't keep up. The government cannot keep up the pace. They can't keep up with these people and what they're doing and how quickly they're outing this stuff, because they're using technology that nobody in the government really understands how to use. These computer engineers are brilliant. So... And now they're being escorted out of the building, and they're here for oversight. They're not there for oversight. They're there for political theater.
Court decision today. Elon Musk is breaking the law. That is why a federal court judge today basically said you cannot just fire people and then offer them a deferred payment that they're...
You can't fire people anymore. These people are so confused. Okay, all of those judges' decisions are going to get overturned, and now we're understanding just how corrupt the judges are, and we're finding out their allegiances to dollars that are being funneled through their kids or spouses, okay, through USAID, through these other organizations, and that's why they're trying to say you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't shut down USAID, okay, you can't shut down the EPA. The fact is, President Trump has the executive authority to fire people.
There's not federal authority to offer them. So we're here to do appropriate oversight to make sure that the federal government's workers are protected, that you have clean air, clean water, we protect the environment.
It's not the time to hit the pause button for climate change.
This is not the time to hit the pause button for climate change. This is, who's this guy? This is Representative Paul Tonko. I don't know every member of the House of Representatives, but he's a Democrat out of New York. Not the time to hit the pause button for climate change. Might be.
We lost 4 precious years in the previous Trump era, and now we're trying our best to gain ground on responding to climate. So we need these programs to stay intact, and this, again, is not in accordance with the law. So
it actually is in accordance with the law. What's interesting about this is I don't think Americans on a whole are as concerned about climate change, because we were told Florida would be underwater, yet all these same people are buying oceanfront property in Florida or on the coast where all these homes should be underwater. So again, I don't think their tactics are working anymore on the American populace. And as this fraud continues to get outed, that is on the minds of Americans.
we're here with Senator Markey to make a difference.
Elon Musk said, we're putting USAID in a wood chipper. And they're going to put the EPA in a wood chipper too, unless there is an outrage public.
So this is Senator Ed Markey from Massachusetts. And you know what's funny about this? Unless there's public outrage. And the problem is no one's showing up at their protests and rallies anymore. I mean, do you see how beautiful this is? Unless there's public outrage. He's trying to create public outrage and they have none.
Demanding that their water, their air, their land is protected. That's why we're here. We're here like latter-day Paul Revere, just warning that DOGE is coming.
They're latter-day Paul Reveres. They honestly think this. I mean, they're latter-day Paul Reveres. Oh my gosh. Paul Revere, one of our founding fathers, great guy. I don't think that they're Paul Reveres. All right. Hey, 1,300 of you on. Please smash that like. Chat in with where you're from. I got to take a 1-minute commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day.
Again, you get 30% off on the Lumberjack page, okay? Again, you'll get better deals on some of this stuff.
For over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 6-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go.
And then he mentions, too, it's free shipping on everything, folks. So there's the number, 1-800-568-2865. Use promo code Lumberjack or go to mypillow.com/Lumberjack. But again, I use the 800 number, 1-800-568-2865. All right. Let's get back to some of this. I can't get enough of this. By the way, I don't know. Did you guys see this video? I'm curious, like, if you saw this video. This is back just before the Super Bowl. And this was Elizabeth Warren. Yes, Pocahontas herself. I'm curious how many saw this video. This is more ineffectual pandering by the Democrats that's not working.
Super Bowl Sunday. And here's a reminder that Donald Trump has done pretty much nothing to lower your grocery costs. Remember, during Donald Trump's campaign, he repeatedly promised to lower food prices immediately. He said on day one. But here we are, way past day one, and the cost of groceries has only gone up. Chicken wings cost over 7% more than they did a year ago. Egg prices have risen 60%. from $2.51 a dozen to over $4 a dozen. Look, instead of lowering costs for your family, Trump's been focused on cutting funding for hot meals for seniors and giving Elon Musk access to the system that makes sure that your grandparents get their Social Security checks on time.
Does anybody know of their grandparents not getting Social Security checks? Okay. Everybody's getting their Social Security checks, people. I mean, Elon Musk doesn't want to, he's not going in there to stop Social Security payments. One thing Trump's been very clear on is that people who paid into Social Security should get their Social Security. The real question is, where did the $2.7 trillion go that was lost in Medicare, Medicaid? Those are the questions, okay? It's ineffectual. Their messaging, they thought they had it, and they just don't. Hey, I want to share an ad with you. Rarely do I do this, and especially for a company that sometimes I just don't like all that much. I mean, because they own YouTube, and I've gone through the demonetization. But I'm going to share with you the best Super Bowl ad. Okay, I don't even think it was close. Number one Super Bowl ad, in my opinion. It actually made me cry. But I'm a dad, and I love this. But what I want you to get out of this, and if you go back to the Super Bowl, and if you watched any of the ads, they weren't all woke. Did you guys catch that? The Super Bowl ads weren't super woke. Not only that, the halftime show didn't go super woke. I mean, maybe you couldn't understand the rapper, but it was red, white, and blue. It was more pro-America. Did you guys catch all this? America is dumping DEI. It is not profitable for companies to be engaged in. And so this is Google's ad during the Super Bowl. I couldn't believe it.
So at my last job, I was working across several different groups. You know what? Let me practice that one again.
Okay. When you're ready, tell me about the job that taught you the most.
Okay. Well, it was a role where I learned to take constructive criticism.
I think she doesn't like you.
Okay. I got pretty used to, working long hours with a small team. I got very comfortable multitasking. And I had to become really organized.
Not bad, but try rephrasing your answer to sound more confident.
Right. Okay. I was asked to make a lot of quick decisions and do a lot of negotiating. One more book.
Truly.
Talk about your experiences working with others.
Oh, well, I'm at my best when I'm collaborating. If it's for the team, I'll do whatever it takes.
This job description you shared mentions on-the-job training.
Well, I am a fast learner. I don't always have all the answers, but I get the job done. No matter how long it takes. And I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. But most importantly, I show up every day, no matter what.
All right, last question. When it comes to work, what motivates you?
I guess knowing that people can depend on me. And knowing I can depend on them too.
That's awesome.
That's a great answer. Sounds like you're ready.
Hey, Jane.
Do you know what's so funny is I'm like looking at some of the comments and this, somebody's saying, I call woke bull crap. There was nothing, to me woke about that. As a dad, I changed, I've got 7 kids. I've changed so many diapers. Okay. And I've taken my kids out without their mom. I've taken them to the stores and everything. I got to pack my own diaper bags. I do all that stuff. And, the fact that people can't see that's actually, good, it kind of blows my mind. You're so amped up about, trying to call everything woke. Don't do that. That was a great ad. That's actually the opposite of woke. That is honoring a dad. That is watching a daughter-dad relationship, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful, especially when she hugs him at the end, and because he's dropping her off, and he has that flashback to her as a little girl. I mean, it's unreal. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, it made me cry. I mean, I have 3 daughters. I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, I just love them so much. It's just, so I was actually very encouraged by that ad and some of the others. So anyhow, I'm going to share with you, this is a federal employee, and I want you to watch this video. And they just, this is like one of those people who doesn't know anything, complaining about something that they think they know something about. Check it out.
Noises, but basically I work in the federal government in a office.
Okay, this volume probably will be a little softer because it's a TikTok video recording. So guys, pump up the volume on your end just to listen to this.
I don't know how much of this I'm allowed to share, but I guess there's only one way to find out. My dog's chewing on the bone if you're wondering what the noise is, but basically I work in the federal government in a office that I'm trying to not give too much away, that like is handling a lot of the executive orders. And the government's like gonna be in shambles, dude. This is the executive orders and the return to office. This is all stuff they don't have a plan for. This is stuff written so poorly, just single-handedly, to thin out personnel and to disrupt the workforce.
The federal government's going to be in shambles. Oh no, it's serving us so well, losing billions and trillions of dollars.
If everyone's trying to cheer on, like, for example, oh, DEI, oh, it's bad. No, it's not DEI, it's DEIA. But everyone tries to fit a narrative. Do you know what the A stands for? Accessibility. Do you know what one of the repercussions of that executive order is? It is pulling down any document, any web page or anything with any of those 4 words on it. That's a part of it. It's not just like any sort of like external hiring path or anything like that. No. It's literally if a form or document that is open to the public and stuff, or internal, like literal policy manuals, for example, has the words diversity or equity or inclusion or accessibility, those sections have to be pulled down, revised, and can only be put up after manual review and legal review. I'm not even joking.
Oh, true, Megan.
You know what has a lot of those words in it? Tax forms. Do you know what's happening in this season? Taxes. That's right. That's not even just that. The back to work stuff, it is single.
Wouldn't that be terrible if the IRS couldn't collect taxes? Wouldn't you people cry?
Single-handedly, not because of productivity. No. Productivity shot up when we had telework and remote work. It's actually dropping, and it's a problem. They don't have the physical space for the staff to return to the office. They are trying to force people and reassign people to different field offices. They don't have the space. There was no plan before these executive orders went into effect. I'm watching it. I'm dealing with it.
This is what's so funny about this to me, folks, is there was an absolute plan going into all these executive orders. That's why they had 1,000 people ready to go the first day. That's why they had legal strategies mapped out. The problem is this is hitting Washington so fast and furious. It seems like chaos to them because they've never had to work at this pace.
Then on top of that, getting rid of remote work, getting rid of telework and everything like that, they are trying to have people resign so that they can get rid of government positions. And what is the end goal, you might ask? Because they're also firing all of the new hires.
Good.
Not every single one yet. Anyone that got a job offer, they've already rescinded that. Today was the day that they referred probationary employees, which is like your first, depending on what position you have, it's either your first year in the position or 2 years if you're like an attorney, for an example. They just referred all of those positions of new hires to their lead agency, which is then going to give that data to the OPM.
Do you know what's so funny? What's so great about this was I didn't know all that stuff. And then this guy, he tells me and I get more excited. Look at this. They're so baked. They think they're going to sue Elon Musk. Listen to this character.
Lawsuit to follow up on last week's victory.
I know it's Raskin. He's the worst, but just put up with him here for a sec just to get this.
Talking to my friends at Democracy Defenders and other lawyers about is, could there be a nationwide class action lawsuit to follow up on last week's victories.
Right. Here's the thing. I want to know if we can have a nationwide class action lawsuit against the federal government for wasting trillions of our dollars. Can we get our taxes back, Jamie? What about that class action lawsuit?
Against Musk, against the Trump administration for this breach in computer security and the data of all American taxpayers. It could be a class action suit on behalf of all Americans. If the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers want to opt out and they don't want their part of the money for the contamination of their data, fine, they can opt out. But really, it's a suit on behalf of everybody because that's our information. Right. It doesn't belong to Elon Musk or his little midnight crew. It belongs to the people, and the government has.
Do you know what belongs to us? Our freaking money, Jamie Raskin. Our money. Okay, we don't care. Elon Musk is going to take our social security numbers and go open new accounts. He's not going to do anything like that. Well, I mean, he's got a big, gigantic microscope on him looking at all the things that they're doing. What a dork. I mean, it's so stupid.
Has to hold it in trust. Now, there's specific statutes which say that information can only be accessed for tax purposes, for the purposes of the internal revenue system, and for no other purposes. What are they using that information for?
Folks, here's what I think of Jamie Raskin. Get ready. You might have to turn up your volume a little bit again, but this will be the funniest thing you see all day.
Lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, and this is your villain origin story, if you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands.
I love that video. I can't get enough of it. I watched it so many times. I downloaded that a few weeks ago, and I just can't get enough of it. It's just so bad. They just sit there and whine. And that takes us back to that whole clip with Dean Phillips saying, you know, maybe what we're doing isn't working in terms of just constantly being the resistance to things that are popular with the American people. So let's go back here. I want to go to this, the unitary executive and Trump's mandate. Okay, the acting Solicitor General has formally notified Congress that she intends to petition the Supreme Court to overturn Humphrey's Executor versus United States, 1935, a ruling that has long stood as an affront to constitutional governance. The decision, a relic of New Deal era overreach, neutered the executive branch and birthed an unaccountable administrative state. If President Trump is to fulfill his clear mandate from the American people, he must be empowered to direct the entirety of the executive branch, free from the constraints of so-called independent agencies. The Supreme Court must seize this opportunity to correct an 89-year-old mistake and restore the president's rightful control over the government's executive functions. The Constitution vests executive power in one person, the President of the United States. Article 2, Section 1 could not be clearer. The executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. This is not a shared or diluted power. It is a singular, absolute in its scope within the executive branch. The court's decision in Humphrey's Executor undermined this core principle by allowing Congress to create entities that function as quasi-independent fiefdoms, wielding executive authority, but answerable to no elected official. That's the problem we're running into right now. And the judges are saying that's what needs to be done. The fiction upon which Humphrey's Executor rests, that agencies like the FTC exercise functions that are not purely executive, is indefensible. The Supreme Court in Sela Law LLC versus CFPB took a significant step toward recognizing this reality by striking down 10-year protections of the director of the CFPB. In that decision, the court reaffirmed that executive power must be subject to presidential oversight. Yet, despite Sela Law's clarification, the multi-member independent agency model persists, allowing career bureaucrats to wield coercive regulatory power with little to no accountability to the American people. This is not how constitutional governance was designed to function. This is when we talk about the deep state and the administrative state. That's what we're talking about. Consider FTC, the very agency at the heart of Humphrey's executor. The FTC engages in enforcement actions, imposes fines, and dictates market conduct, core executive functions, yet the president cannot freely remove its members. This is an absurd and dangerous anomaly. President Trump, having been elected to deliver on his promises of deregulation, economic nationalism, and government accountability, must not be shackled by an unaccountable bureaucracy that actively obstructs his vision. Allowing independent agencies to persist in their current form is tantamount to allowing a shadow government to dictate policy, subverting the will of the electorate. Opponents of overruling Humphrey's executor argue that independent agencies provide stability and prevent politicization of regulatory enforcement. But this argument betrays a fundamental misunderstanding of democratic governments. First off, folks, let me just go back here. Actually, it does not prevent politicization. It actually guarantees it because of how unions are funding the Democrat Party, right? I mean, I think it was it Hamilton who talked about that as one of our founding fathers? That would be one of the greatest dangers. Okay, if an agency wields power over business, consumers, and industries, then the person who wields the power must be someone who answers to the American voter, not an independent, quote unquote, bureaucrat with a fixed term. If stability and expertise were the primary virtues of government, then why have elections at all? The administrative state, under the guise of neutrality, has become a force for progressive entrenchment, insulating its regulatory decisions from the scrutiny of elected officials. So this is being put to the test right now. The Supreme Court has before it an opportunity to reaffirm first principles to restore the executive branch to its rightful constitutional role and to ensure that President Trump, duly elected by the American people, can govern without unconstitutional encumbrances. The administrative state, for far too long, has operated as an unelected, unaccountable force, undermining the democratic decision-making and imposing an ideological agenda divorced from electoral legitimacy. It is time to end this charade. It is time to return to constitutional government. It is time to overrule Humphrey's executor. Again, this was a muse on X who put that article out there. I just like to give credit where credit is due. So there you have it, folks. I mean, we literally have Democrats realizing how ineffective Democrats are being. They're just showing up, pouting. That's all they're doing is they're pouting. Okay, they're again. I'm just gonna play it again. They're like this girl.
Lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, and this is your villain origin story, if you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands.
What? I can't get enough of that video. I just can't. I'm sorry. It's beautiful. I'm just so, oh gosh, people. You know, it's so funny. And I'm curious, actually. I mean, I'm going to close this show down, but I just want to ask you guys a couple questions. Before the election, how comfortable were you with the fact that Trump would win? Were you certain he would win? Yes. Or did you have your doubts? Or did you think, no way, he's not going to win. They're going to steal it. I'm curious. I want to see in the chat where people were at. I was cautiously optimistic. I believed he would win, but I was still on pins and needles because of what had happened before. Okay. And I think some people were 70%. Yes. New. Yes. 85, 90%. So getting some different, yeah. So some people thought, no, they would cheat. No doubt he could win. Thought they'd steal rig. I mean, it was like, I looked at all the polling and I looked at the good polls, you know what I mean? And I'm like, man, he's got this thing. And so many people had done so much work in the election integrity field. People have become poll watchers, election judges, all this kind of stuff. People had cleaned up voter rolls, people like True the Vote. And I just, I'm so grateful to all the people involved in this movement. I'm so grateful to you, my audience. And then the question is, How many of you honestly thought it would be this good? Yes or no? I mean, I knew it would be good. I honestly didn't know it would be this good. I mean, I'd read an article beforehand of people who, kind of had insider knowledge, and they talked about this team of young autists coming in and just changing everything. And I was like really hopeful after reading that and finding out more. I'm thinking, oh gosh, but it was kind of cautiously optimistic. First, he had to win. Okay. Then he actually had to go through the certification process, then be sworn in, and then this all had to start happening. I just think it's amazing. I'm so grateful to Donald Trump. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. Again, I mean, it is hard to judge throughout the history of our country because we weren't there in 1775. We weren't there in 1776. We weren't in during the Revolutionary War when the British Empire was bearing down guns on us and George Washington was leading them through the winter at Valley Forge. George Washington was a special character. I think we can all agree on that. People like Thomas Jefferson, founders who wrote the Constitution so beautifully, so eloquently. Okay. But we're at a different time. And in some ways, it's almost tougher to do this with an electoral win from inside the country. So I have to, say, I mean, Trump is up there and one of the top presidents of all time. Again, it's hard for me to say, was he better than George Washington? I don't know. We wouldn't even have a country without George Washington. So it's really tough to go, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln. There's some greats up there, and maybe it's tough to just say that one was the top, but Donald Trump is proving himself to be right at the tippity top. I mean, this is epic what he's doing, and I'm so grateful. And so again, Donald Trump, if you ever see this, thank you. I'm so grateful. I am so grateful. So, yeah. All right. Keep fighting the good fight. All right. We'll see you on the next episode, folks. Peace out.